Today marks the return of the masked superstar Suicide. Everybody's speculating. I overhear who's the man under the mask. Who is that man that is Suicide? And that's not a concern of mine because I know he is I and I am him. What concerns me is why Suicide and why me, and what does this mean on a larger level? Suicide is the last way a desperate person can grab control of their life, and I don't know if this means that if I beat Suicide tonight, I've re-grabbed control of this dream of being a wrestler that spun out of control, or if me facing Suicide tonight means that I need to grab control of my life by killing my dream of being a wrestler. I've got a lot of thinking to do.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Southern California, Brian Kendrick.
One of the more colorful performers on the TNA roster, Brian Kendrick.
Hold on, now how are you going to say he's colorful? He's wearing white, all white, and he's pasty, he has no tan.
All right, I'll give you that.
Not colorful. I almost thought maybe he was in, I had the same robe, like a robe in my hotel hanging. You that robe in your hotel? Oh, no, you're not saying the same place. You're at a different place than I'm at.
I'll tell you what, Kendrick, an expert in Kundalini yoga. Bet you didn't know that.
And his opponent, weighing 228 pounds, Suicide.
From the top of the world-famous Impact Zone.
That's pretty cool right there. That's pretty cool.
Comes alive on a TNA Explosion. What a matchup this is going to be.
Suicide, man. He's back in the house.
And everywhere we go, he is one of the more mysterious. And Brian Kendrick was not strange enough.
Oh, my God.
Suicide takes it to a new level, but in a way that's just mysterious, in a way that we just don't know. We know what he's capable about. Oh, that's the Kundalini yoga.
That's what he's doing. That's the yoga, the rotating baked yoga?
No, Kundalini.
Right,
it is a type of yoga that he enjoys. It's a yoga of the highest level.
Look, Suicide's a tad confused. I don't blame him. Kick him in the face, bro. Just kick him. Bam, right in the face.
You know, when he goes into these Kundalini chants and trances, I don't know if you can even, if he's
not like functionable bubble.
not
right?
quite, no. Well, there you go. You take off that robe you mentioned. And Brian Kendrick comes alive himself.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, put aside Kendrick's kind of off-color, bizarre demeanor. He's a very talented competitor once the bell rings and in between the ropes. There's several superstars here in TNA that have that same issue. You know that?
Well, with Brian Kendrick, the fact that he's a little nuts, I think really plays into the fact that how he approaches his matchups. And the fact that he's, really hard to psych out, I would guess. The mental advantage, when a guy's just not there, it's hard to really get a step up on him mentally.
I would think so. I would definitely think so. I mean, obviously both these men need psychiatric help. I mean, Brian Kendrick, just for the obvious, and Suicide, well, his issues.
And whether it be the TNA Impact video game, the many action figure series, Suicide, very popular.
Looks like an action hero, this guy. I mean, he runs around, he's got the suit on, the mask. I'd love to know who it is, who he looks like.
And what a...
I've never seen Mike Tenay and Suicide in the same place at the same time. Maybe it's Tenay.
There's a lot of skeptics out there.
Think so.
Brian Kendrick, by the way, believes that we have been put on Earth here by aliens. A crossbreed of Lumerians and reptilians. That's what he says we are.
Well, I actually agree. I mean, I know I spent some time in the Antilles, and I know my time there. I've heard a lot about alien life, and it could be. I mean, Kendrick, I actually got to have a little chat with him about that.
I want to talk to him after the match about it, but he certainly approaches life with a different type of style, and I really think that crosses over into his style in the ring. Tries some, I guess, some outlandish things sometimes to psych out his opponent.
He does what he has to do to win, as does Suicide, but Suicide was about to turn the tables, I should say, and Kendrick able to shut down Suicide.
And these great fans in attendance tonight enjoying this action. We have so much great stuff to talk about. It's Suicide, Brian Kendrick, when we return on TNA Explosion. We are back on TNA Explosion. JB along with Taz, and so far Brian Kendrick with the upper hand on this one, Taz.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brian Kendrick, I mean, we don't know where Suicide's been. He might have a little ring rust on him. I mean, Kendrick is a full active wrestler here in TNA, so Suicide kind of been somewhere.
Well, oh, look at this. Now,
version of an octopus.
Octopus now into, there's that Kundalini trance we talked about.
He's doing the Kundalini. Why, is that the octopus? I feel like I'm at a sushi bar. What the hell's going on? Now he's bowing.
Suicide now. This is tough.
Now he's doing a hook of horns. Must be a Texas Longhorn fan. Oh, what's going on here?
Stretching the neck, stretching the abdominal area. As you see, Suicide fighting his way out of that, but got with almost a spear to the midsection by Brian Kendrick.
Exactly what it was. Flying shoulder right to the gut. Kendrick, instead of going for a cover, looks like he's going for a version of a camel clutch, which he's probably learned while he's trained in some of his yoga skills, maybe in Egypt. There's loads of camels in Egypt, as you know.
Certainly are. There are. And I'll tell you what, we were over in
Egypt?
Europe. We did not hit Egypt, but we were in the Europe area through the many different countries. And while Suicide, a former X Division champion, a lot of fans out there talking about the great X Division action here in TNA Wrestling.
Oh, the X Division is just, it's amazing. It's our X Division, it's our X Games, more or less. I mean, it's just high octane, some of the greatest action you're going to see. Amazing athletes are the X Division wrestlers. Nothing like it in the world.
And Kazarian standing on top of the X Division mountain right now, successfully defending his title in Paris, successfully defending his title all over Germany, the United Kingdom. Some great fans got to see some great action.
Yeah, you were on that whole trip, right?
We just got in the other night, as a matter of fact.
You were gone about, what, 8, 9, 10 months? You gone like forever.
It was 10 days, 5 cities.
Well, I heard when you travel with you, it seems like 10 months. Anyway, right now, Suicide trying to get control over Kendrick. Oof. I'm joking, 6 months. Oh, look at that. Follows up. Yep.
Yeah, Suicide takes down Kendrick.
Ooh, kicked the front shin and flipped Brian Kendrick. Suicide did some kind of a crazy little mambo dance there. I don't know what that was.
And we've seen that before. Just throwing his head right into the second rope turnbuckle. Not enough to get Kendrick. And whether it's an Ultimate X match, the high wire free for all. Look out, Suicide.
Senton right there off the apron.
One thing that, Taz, you can say about this man, Suicide, never afraid of a high-risk maneuver.
Now, Suicide, he puts himself at risk. That's the name. And he puts himself at risk. Look at that round kick by Brian Kendrick. Great shot. Oh, my God, a jumping enziguri.
Kendrick really is a wizard with those feet. He's unbelievable. Goes for the pin. And Taz, when you have a guy who can jump and really kick you from anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that makes him so dangerous. Brian Kendrick also, I couldn't help but notice, has a Band-Aid on his right shoulder. Rumor has it, got bit by a white bat. Last night, I heard about a hotel. Some of his bats flying around his room. He had some kind of seance going on.
Blame the government for it, too. Unbelievable. Whoa, look at this. Double kick. We've seen that before. Suicide takes down Brian Kendrick. And now, looked like he was going for that Suicide solution. Kendrick stops that in its tracks, follows up with a big right across the face, whips him into the turnbuckle now and does not connect.
Suicide now wants to capitalize on the miscue by Brian Kendrick.
Here it comes. Suicide solution.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Here is your winner, Suicide.
I guess Kendrick's going to have to do a little more studying of that linguini yoga he was doing, a Skeletal-Linguini.
Kundalini.
Yeah, right. Have to do a little bit more of that. Good matchup, though, by both men. Suicide, welcome back.
Absolutely. Back with a vengeance. Suicide returns to TNA Wrestling with a victory over Brian Kendrick in impressive fashion. Suicide is back in TNA and is going to be gunning for that X Division Championship.